Hello everyone and welcome back to the garden. It's a nice warm overcast morning this morning and it seems to be staying like that for the day now, but we've got one or two jobs to do. We'll just do the first one in the greenhouse, and that's those that can remember, I always put chalk on the top of the tomato pots and the cucumber pots, because I do believe it stops the flowers falling off, so, or even fruit drop. And so I've been told it does stop the blossom end rot on the tomatoes as well. I'll just show you how to put it on. This is children's chalk. It's nice and big, look, as you can see. This particular one is yellow, but they do come in all different colours. And this is a cheese grater that we got from one of the supermarkets. Well, Diane bought it and then I stole it off her. Very good for this job. Then all I do is I rub the covering of the chalk on top of the pot. And turn the pot and do the other side. I do all the tomatoes and especially the cucumbers with this, because you don't want your flowers dropping off. Flower drop, they have no cucumbers. Just scrape it on like that, and then when it's watered, that'll go in. And I don't do a second application at all. That's it for the season now. Another little job we'll be doing a bit later on today is, as you can see, the basil is getting quite tall now in here. So we'll take the top bits off and Diane will take those up, probably dry them and then feed them and then start them so they bush up better, ready for the main picking later on. The chalking of the tomatoes and the cucumbers, I'll do that, so probably next time you see it, it'll all be on every pot, but to do it all at once will take quite a while. We're going now to harvest some artichokes. Now these are the artichokes. As you can see here, look, you can see where the bottom of these fruits, as you might call them, they're actually flowers, are just beginning to part from the main. Can you see them there? That means that's ready for harvesting. And then I just go down and I'll cut it there, look, quite a cut off. So that's what we're looking for, big or small. If these are coming away like that, it's best to harvest them. Largest one here, look, there's quite a few ants on them, so we'll have to wash them. That's another one. There's ants, but I can't see any slugs, which makes a change. Even this one, look, although it's a bit smaller, it is coming away at the bottom, so we need to take that one as well. I'll harvest them and then we'll show you what we've got. Now we've got the artichokes cut with a bit of a stem, and then we'll take them up to the shed and we'll shorten that stem. When on the table it'd be easier than down there. Now we want to cut a lettuce as well. These are green cos, you know, the taller lettuce, and they're coming up well, so we'll take one for us and we'll take one to give to Gemma when she comes. What I do is I cut the root with the knife so I can get the whole thing out, and then I cut the lettuce off the root. It's easier that way. Then that goes into the compost bin and that goes up to there. That's not a bad lettuce. If you leave the root of these in the ground, it goes rotten quite quick and it could sour the land for the next crop, because I will put lettuce in here again. This one the same, you'll see it easier. Put the knife in and cut round, you can cut the root and then separate it from the lettuce itself. There's an odd and hole in there, look, but that's not so bad. The centre's okay. Right, we'll just cover these up. We've got to the strawberries and I've lifted the net a little bit where some of the ripe strawberries are. So we'll be able to pick some and then we'll have to cover up again. But while it's open, I'll put some beer traps in, I think. But you'll see those next time. Here's a couple of the strawberries I've lifted. Now I'm sure there'll be some slug damage in there. We would get that anyway if it wasn't a bad season, but we'll take what we can and we'll show you what we've got then. Decent size, you know, they are. We've managed to get a few strawberries, not many, but it'll be a taster, I think this will. But there's a decent size on them, and as I said before, there's a little bit of damage on them, but they're not too bad as I thought. I'll just show you while we're passing that I did get the celeriac in to this end of the celery tunnel, and then I put the cover on as well. Likewise, I got the cover now on the leek tunnel, so they're ready for the summer. It's just a case of watering, a little bit of feed, and then hopefully weed it twice and harvest it. This is the celeriac at this end. There's only 3 rows, but that's all we'll need of it. That's neon and it's F1. Growing alright. They're a little bit damp because there was a little bit of rain last night, not a lot, but I might give them a drink tonight because the celery family does like a lot of water. Now while we're here, we'll lift some of these spring onions. These are called White Lisbon. They're quite winter hardy and they've grown up through the spring, so we'll start harvesting them now. I should use the knife and just get under them and try and cut the root. Now I don't want to knock too much of the soil off, just when I get up there to the tank I'll wash them, and then all that will come off into a bucket, and then I can put that soil back onto the garden. That's they look alright. Let's do another one. I'll do this one, a bit smaller than this one, but... and this is if you put them in a cell tray and then plant them out when they've grown up, a bit like we did the other day. This is what you get, a little group of onions like that, and they manage alright, but don't get your spacing too tight obviously so they can swell. Now this is what we've harvested today. It's a small harvest, but remember it's early season yet. There's some lovely artichokes there, they'll go to Gemma's, you'll be pleased with those. A couple of green cos lettuce that are quite good, I'm pleased with those. Now a taste of the strawberries, but I can assure you we're looking forward to tasting those, and some spring onion there as well. They've come out quite well, as you can see. I'm quite pleased with the spring onion. That was White Lisbon, and then soon we'll be on Parade, and we should get a little bit stronger onion from the Parade, I think. This is a little tray of those potatoes we set earlier on. Now there doesn't look a lot there, but I can show you that that bag has been nearly underwater for several days, and it's took an eternity to dry out. So I'm quite pleased we've got something. We were expecting nothing. We've got something, I'm pleased with that. Hello everyone, Saturday today. We had to cut it a little bit short yesterday because just as we was finishing we had visitors come, so we left it and then we're coming back to it now. The only thing I had to do yesterday was put the pheromone into the raspberry trap. So we'll do it now and you'll see how we do it. Here's the refill. This is a single pack, but you can get a double pack as well. So we will have to send for another one for the other raspberries. When they're just about ready, we'll get another one for those. Now then, to do it, let's pop that down. What you do, this is your trap, obviously. In the bottom, this is the bottom of the lure. It's got some water in it and a little bit of vegetable oil on top. They tell you to do that, I don't know why. It seems to hold them in the water rather than letting them crawl up the sides. That clips on there. Now, it is beginning to rain a little bit, but we'll get this done. You will need a pair of scissors because these are quite tough to tear open. I'll get that in a moment. Just pop those scissors in there. Here is your lure. Now don't take it out of the plastic, leave it in there and I'll show you what to do. Up at the top here, there's a little, let me pop it out, there's a little cage and a lid that goes on top of it. So what you do, you take the lure, you squeeze it and bend it a bit like that, and then you put that in there. And I can smell the lure already. Put that in that little cage and you put the cage back in the top of the trap and put the little lid on there to stop the water getting in, and it just sits there. Wants to be 2 foot away from your plants, and as the raspberry beetles come now, they'll go to the lure, go down there into the water, and that's where they'll end their days. It's useful. If you don't do it, you can have a lot of maggots inside your raspberries, and we don't want that at all. Now it's actually cheered up a little bit now. That's because we're outdoors. Now I'll just show you, if you remember, we trimmed the top off after winter, early spring, and we said that they'll break for fruit all the way down. Well, as you can see, we've got fruit right down the bottom. Look, top to bottom of the raspberries is fruit. If we hadn't have taken the tops off, all the fruit would be up here and hardly anything but stems down here. So it's worth cutting the top off to get the flush of fruit, both sides, that is. Both sides will be like this. They're not quite ready, but you need to put the lure up just after the flowers, because the flowers attract the flies obviously, and they'll come in. So there'll be a buzzing about somewhere now. We are a little bit late, but it's still time to put it there, and as I say, we'll send for another lure, then pop it over there later on. Now I don't know if you remember, we planted a cherry tree in this fruit cage. This is its 2nd year now, and that's its first fruit from this little tree. It's a little maiden. I did trim the tops off a bit to get it to break. So that's the fruit in here now, and then when it's finished fruiting and we've harvested them, I shall start to train it along a rail in here so we can find it. We don't need all this. As soon as it's finished, we'll train it so it's got a long top. It's not a fan, it's not espalier, it'll just be on like a rail, and then we'll be able to pick it easier. So that'll be it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for bearing with us while we had a cup of tea with our mates. Now we'll see you next week. Hopefully that's when we'll have our little walkabout and show you what we've got. Right, so take care everyone. See you soon. Bye now.